From SCNR, Tulsi Gabbard endorses Trump for president, creating what RFK Jr. has called the Justice League. It's kind of cringe, but okay. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. tweets, Wonder Woman just joined the Justice League. Oh, man. All right. Now, Tulsi Gabbard's great. I'm a big fan. I've been a fan of hers for a while. I wish she didn't endorse Joe Biden in 2020, but she did what she did because we all have free will. Tulsi Gabbard says, I am committed to doing all that I can to send President Trump back to the White House where he can once again serve us as our commander-in-chief. Gabbard, a veteran, gave her endorsement of Trump during the former president's press conference in Detroit this morning. The press conference followed Trump's Monday morning visit to Arlington Cemetery, the third anniversary of this nation's withdrawal from Afghanistan, which left 13 United States service members dead. She says, I know that President Trump understands the grave responsibility that a president and commander-in-chief bears for every single one of our lives. He keeps us in his heart in the decisions that he makes. Gabbard touted Trump's first term in office, which saw no new wars, in his efforts to end the 20-year-long war in Afghanistan. He exercised the courage that we expect from our commander-in-chief in exhausting all measures of diplomacy, she said, noting Trump's meeting with adversaries to the United States in the pursuit of peace. The same cannot be said about Kamala Harris, Gabbard said to the vice president. In fact, the opposite is true, and we're living through this reality today as his administration has us facing multiple wars on multiple fronts in regions around the world and closer to the brink of nuclear war than we have ever been before. Completely agree.
To the brink of nuclear war than we ever have been before. This is one of the main reasons why I'm committed to doing all that I can to send President Trump back to the White House where he can once again serve us as our commander-in-chief.
Right on.
Because I am confident that his first task will be to do the work to walk us back from the brink of war. We cannot be prosperous unless we are at peace. And we can't live free as long as we have a government that is retaliating against its...
Yeah, she should have wore blue. She's wearing blue up here. It's clearly an old photo because Democrats wear blue and Republicans wear red. And I think that's silly. I think she should have wore blue. Whatever. Gabbard then accused President Joe Biden and his administration of weaponizing the federal government against his political adversaries. Kamala Harris has done this over the last 3.5 years. She won't hesitate to continue that if she is elected president, Gabbard warned, adding the Biden-Harris administration sought to prevent Trump's ability to run for president. We can't allow our country to be destroyed by politicians who will put their own power ahead of the interests of the American people, our freedom, and our future. I'm proud to stand here before you today, whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, or an independent. If you love your country as I do, if you cherish peace and freedom as we do, I invite you to join me in doing all that we can to save our country and elect President Donald J. Trump and send him back to the White House to do the tough work of saving our country and serving the people. Gabbard previously ran for president under the Democrat ticket in 2020. We know this. The former Hawaii representative joins other outspoken liberals and former Democrats, including RFK Jr., Elon Musk, in endorsing Trump for president. And so while RFK Jr. says Wonder Woman has joined the Justice League, we have Marvel Studios Team Unity. And Donald Trump is Captain America. I don't know. Who is this that's star in his chest? Is that Captain Marvel? I don't know who any of these people are. I know like the actual, you got JD Vance, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., Elon Musk, and Vivek. But I don't know what I guess it's just an AI rendering. So it's just, whatever nonsense. Trump as Captain America, and then they photoshopped the heads on the back. But that's Marvel. That's the Avengers, not the Justice League. So we talked about this last night. Who would they be? Tulsi Gabbard, Wonder Woman? Makes sense. Yeah. Donald Trump as Superman? Makes sense. I guess Elon Musk would be Batman because, wealthy tech guy. Building a spaceship, Batman built the orbital Justice League, the tower, I think it's called. And then RFK Jr., I guess, would be Aquaman. I don't know. Aquaman, I don't know. He is kind of like ripped And whatever. RFK Jr. once beheaded a dead whale with a chainsaw and tied head to roof of his family's minivan. Shout out to RFK Jr. He sounds like a fun guy. It was funny when the story came out about him dumping the dead bear in the woods. Everyone's like, hey, don't rag on him. He's fun. It sounds like a fun time dumping a dead bear in the woods and throwing a bike on top of it. Holy crap. Well, he is a Democrat, right? In all seriousness, though, you take a look at the people that he's got behind him, and it is funny that J.D. Vance was a never-Trumper. Tulsi Gabbard was a Democrat. J.D. Vance was a never-Trumper. RFK Jr. was a Democrat. Elon Musk is a multi-billionaire Democrat tech CEO. Vivek Ramaswamy came from Big Pharma. And people have criticized all of these people for these things. Can we just point out that this literally is team unity? Donald Trump, also a former Democrat. He was a New York liberal. He runs now as a Republican, as the moderate in this race and the last races. A middle-of-the-road guy trying to represent average Americans. He's wealthy. He's well off. They say he doesn't understand the plight of the middle America. I got to tell you this, maybe. But if that's the case, I can't even begin to explain what Democrats represent, or the neocons. Tulsi Gabbard, a Democrat Hawaii rep, she was supposed to be the heir for the Democrats. She was their backbench, no joke. And then she betrayed Hillary Clinton for Bernie Sanders, and they were pissed. She was their shining star. They said she's military, she's a great talker, she's young, she is perfect as a woman of color to represent what we want. And then she said, no, you ripped off Bernie Sanders and you're losing. And she called them out for it. They lost it. And they ripped her to shreds. They wanted war. She did not. So she was out. That Democrat is now endorsing Donald Trump. J.D. Vance, a never-Trumper, who called Trump the worst of the worst things, who now says, you know what, he was wrong about that. RFK Jr., an heir to the Kennedy political dynasty, who wanted to run as a Democrat in the primary. Incredible. Elon Musk. He was a Democrat voter. He makes electric cars. He complains about climate change. And now he is here backing Donald Trump. Vivek Ramaswamy ran a pharmaceutical company, Big Pharma. Democrats call it out. Republicans call it out. Everybody hates Big Pharma. And Vivek's story is fantastic. Vivek is the smartest guy in politics right now, no question. I'm a huge fan. Vivek says that the BLM riots happen. They come to him and they say, you need to put up a black profile picture. And he was like, I do? And they're like, well, it's like everyone's doing it to show solidarity because of what happened. He was like, okay, I guess. I'm not sure if he did. I think he did. Then he was told, you got to write a letter. You got to write something. And he was like, oh, sure, I guess. And then he wrote something where it was like, you know, it's really sad that this has come to our country. The riots are causing a lot of pain and suffering. And we lament the death of, I think it was George Floyd. And it was very neutral. They came to him again and said, how dare you? You need to be on our side completely. He said people started resigning. And he was just like, what is going on? I think that's the moment he was like, you want to play games? I think Vivek was like, look, man, we're running a pharmaceutical company. Okay? They demanded he become an activist. They demanded he bend the knee to them. So he became an activist against them. They radicalized him. They weaponized him for Trump and for the Republican Party, for MAGA populism. This guy said, you are all nuts, and you do not realize who you have angered with those threats. We had him here, I think it was like a year and a half ago, one of the original Culture War shows, and he explained all of that. And fascinating how they woke up this fury within Vivek, and now you genuinely do have this unity party. I don't see how he loses when it comes to the argument. I can certainly understand shadow campaigns, which we'll get into in a second. But take a listen. We got this clip from Tenet Media. Follow at Watch Tenet now on X. They've been putting out these great clips. They've been tracking the news, and it's a great source, by the way. We also have the Culture War show at Tenet Friday mornings. Don Lemon's interview across the country We're a huge reality check. Turns out many Americans don't know who Kamala is and think Trump was on black people's side. Listen to this.
Was there anything, what did they think about Harris? Did they have anything to say about her?
They did have, listen, it depends on where you are. We went to a number of different battleground states in Pennsylvania, Ohio. We were in Michigan, Indiana, on our way, obviously, Illinois, on our way to Chicago. And it sort of depended on where you were. Pennsylvania, well, I shouldn't say Pennsylvania, I should say Philadelphia, was a bit more liberal, and the answers to the questions about her and him were quite different. But for the most
He's struggling to say it.
In Pittsburgh or at the Jersey Shore and in Atlantic City, in Ohio especially, many people did not know who she was. Right? They weren't familiar with her. So I think she has to reintroduce herself to the public. But for him, I think that they thought that he's better for the economy. And that, again, that he gave them, that he brought money into the community or that he was on black people's side.
I'd be willing, I want to make a bet. I'd be willing to bet that if you do a poll, and maybe we should do some men in the street interviews. You do a poll and you ask people, who do you plan to vote for this election? They're going to say, if that's the question, I don't know. I think the reason why we see the polls favoring Kamala is because the questions are probably busted. They probably ask something like, when it comes to this November's election, do you intend to vote for the Democratic nominee, Kamala Harris, or the Republican nominee, Donald Trump? And they go, Democrat. And they go, that's for Kamala Harris. But if you actually ask the question, who are you voting for? Most people say, I don't know. I don't know. We have a Biden poll for some reason. Echelon Insights has Biden v. Trump. I don't know why. Echelon Insights has a tie when Kennedy is out of the race. That's interesting. With Kennedy in the race, Trump loses. With Kennedy out of the race, it's tied. Harris, Trump, Stein, West, and Oliver each get 1%. That's fascinating. But you know what I'd be interested in doing is actually pulling up the poll here, which we have. August 2024 verified voter omnibus. And let's say first, right direction. Would you say things in the U.S. are headed in the right direction, or is the country on the wrong track? 64% say wrong track. I want to get to the, this is not the, download the crosstabs. Are you going to cause problems for me? I don't know if I want to deal with whatever it is they're going to try to do. If I download the crosstabs, can I just open them? Okay. It allowed me to open them. Perfect. Let's zoom in and take a look. And I want to see what the actual question is. Right direction, wrong direction. If you had to choose just one, which would you say is the biggest issue facing the country today? Infrastructure, 1%. What's the winner? 26, cost of living. Whoa. Cost of living is the top. Jobs in the economy. So it looks like in total right now, cost of living is the biggest concern. Am I wrong about that? Yeah, the biggest concern is cost of living, followed by immigration, followed by jobs in the economy, because they are all tied together. Let's look at the youth vote. Cost of living is 31% for the youth vote, followed by, jobs in the economy at 15. Immigration for young people is only registering around 3. For 65 and up, immigration is 23%. That's really interesting. Most people are concerned about the economy, as it usually is. All right. They ask a question again, blah, blah, blah. What I want to see is how they ask who they're voting for. Because I'm willing to bet that they preload the questions, if we can actually get to it. They just keep asking the same one about what's the biggest issue facing. How many pages? There's 230. Oh, I ain't doing that. Let's go. Let's just do that. Do you have a favorable or unfavorable view of the following groups or individuals who have been in the news lately? Kamala Harris. Let's see. Total. Very or somewhat favorable is 50%. Very or somewhat unfavorable is 47%. And it looks like very unfavorable is 41%. Interesting. Let's try voting. Nope. Doesn't come up. Vote. Registered voters. And you see, that's what they're doing, right? Let's see. It's not easy. Who are you Nope, doesn't come up either. I'm not going to look through 230 pages to try and figure this one out right now while we're live. So we'll just go through the polls and we'll take a look at what's currently going on. And then I'll come back to that later. But my presumption is that when they ask about who you're voting for, it's preloaded. Right now, Kamala Harris is up in aggregate by 1.5. But there's something interesting that I want to bring up. You actually get Don Lemon, of all people, going around and asking people, and they say they don't know who Kamala Harris is. So how could someone say they're going to vote for Kamala Harris if they don't know who she is? They're likely not. They're likely not. I say this. You want to solve the problems of this country? Here's what you do. You take the names off ballots. You can take the political parties off ballots. I say take all the names off. It makes no sense to me that they're going to say we have, 15 slots available for anybody running for office and only the chosen 15 get to be there. That's an advantage that shouldn't exist in politics. So how about this? All ballots are blank. If you don't know the name of the person you're voting for, you can't vote for him. Have a nice day. If you write the name of the person you're voting for illegibly, then doesn't count. If you spell their name wrong, doesn't count. You have to know their name, spell their name properly. That's it. It's the weirdest thing to me that at one point we decided, voters are really dumb and they don't know who to vote for. Let's put their names on it for them. As if these are your choices. You could do a write-in. It's supposed to be a write-in. It always was. But I got to tell you, my friends, nobody has any idea what's going to happen. The polls are nuts. Okay? You look at the general election. What is this? Rasmussen has Trump up 3, but CBS has Harris up 3. Fox News has Trump up 1, Harris X Trump up 2, CNBC Trump up 2. Nobody has any idea what is going on or if Harris is going to win. No idea. In the battleground states, Trump is leading by 0.1, which suggests Trump is going to win. But Polymarket has Trump as the favorite. Holy crap. Look at this. $93 million bet on Donald Trump. $86 million bet on Kamala Harris. But over at Predicted, it's inverted. 56 cents for Kamala Harris, 47 for Donald Trump. This is nuts. Nobody has any idea. The polls are meaningless. Nobody has any idea. So what's it going to be, man? One thing I can tell you is Kamala Harris got no boost from the Democratic National Convention. I think quite plainly she lost. Polls went down. The prediction betting odds dropped for Kamala Harris. The DNC hurt her quite substantially. RFK Jr.'s endorsement actually boosts Donald Trump quite well. And I guess Ben Affleck is maybe going to join the Justice League or something. I don't know. Ben Affleck is reportedly spotted with RFK Jr.'s daughter, Kick Kennedy. Okay. I don't know. That story doesn't really matter, but I thought it was funny considering people were, RFK said it's the Justice League or something. I also want to point out to everybody, Thor and Iron Man are not DC. They are Marvel. They are not in the Justice League. Guys, please. The original Justice League, you've got Martian Manhunter, Superman, Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman. That's it? The original 7? And then you can have the extended Justice League or whatever, but we don't need to go there. Anyway, the point is that's Marvel, not DC. I love this story about RFK Jr. beheading the whale for whatever reason. And this comes from his daughter, Kick. She said that it's a resurfaced interview from 2012. It was a normal day for us. What did she say? Kathleen Alexandra Kick Kennedy made the claim in a 2012 interview. I don't know why this is supposed to be bad for RFK, to be honest. Am I supposed to be mad about this? What did she say? Recounted a day when she was 6 and the family learned a dead whale had washed up on the beach at Hyannis Port. The actor turned philanthropist said on hearing the news, her dad headed down to the beach armed with a chainsaw to cut off the whale's head. He then strapped the grim body part to the roof of the family's minivan using bungee cords and drove the family to Mount Kisco, New York, 4 to 5 hours long. Every time we accelerated on the highway, the whale juice would pour into the windows of the car, and it was the rankest thing on the planet. Why didn't you roll the windows up? We all had plastic bags over our heads with mouth holes cut out, and people on the highway were giving us the finger, but that was just normal day-to-day stuff for us. I ain't even mad. I don't know why I'm supposed to be mad about that. Look, what is this? Oh, it's illegal, is it? After the story surfaced, environmentalists from the Center for Biological Diversity Action Fund claims that he violated the law. In a letter to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the environmental agency said that it is illegal to possess any part of an animal, dead or alive, that is protected under either statute. Continued possession of any whale skull represents a significant ongoing violation of the law. Dude, my least concern, okay, is whether or not RFK Jr. 12 years ago. Oh, it wasn't even 12 years ago. It was way earlier than that. How the kick is like, she's like 35 or what is she, 36? So we're talking about 30 years ago? The dude, I don't care. Whatever, man. No one has any idea what's going on. Nobody knows who's going to win this one. The media is acting like Kamala's going to win, but nobody knows who she is. I'm willing to bet when you actually dig through this, dig through 230 pages. Okay, here we go. For which candidate did you vote in the 2020 presidential election? And then, Kanye West, less than 1%, I guess. I'm willing to bet when you look at this, they're preloading this. They're saying, here's your choices, and people are choosing. 45% said Donald Trump. 49% said Joe Biden. I wonder if that's going to be the... I wonder if that's going to be the same. They asked, regardless of how you vote, would you consider yourself to be very conservative, 37%, somewhat liberal, 29%, very conservative, 19%, somewhat conservative, 18%, moderate, 32%, somewhat liberal, 15%, very liberal, 14%. Interesting. So is that, okay, so they combined very and somewhat liberal. So what they're arguing here is that most of these people they polled lean conservative. They're saying they're oversampling conservatives, which I find very interesting. Maybe we can search for 2024 and that'll give us a better... No, it won't. Let's try Q 2024. There we go. Who do you expect to win the 2024 presidential race? Donald Trump, 44%. Kamala Harris, 46%. I wonder why they think that. Genuinely. Let's see. What else is there? Who do you expect to win the 2024 presidential election? Donald Trump, 44%. It's the same thing. Did they just ask the same thing? Yeah, it's the same question over and over and again. We'll see. Trump's got the moderates on his side. He's winning the argument. But Democrats, they play dirty games. We'll see. I'm going to wrap this segment up here. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, become a member at timcast.com. Next segment will be coming up at 4 p.m. on this channel. Oh boy. $150,000 loans for illegal immigrants. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all at 4.